Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a really provocative look at how resistance to new infrastructure, in this case, data centers, is, well, reshaping Michigan's future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a striking observation. Communities fighting something new because it feels like it undermines their local identity, right?
Exactly. What strikes me is that this isn't the first time we've seen such pushback. Think back to railroads, power plants, highways. Each time, communities argued that it didn't benefit them, yet eventually, history proved otherwise.
Right, It's like every generation finds its own roadblock to progress.
Yep, because people say, oh, data centers are ugly, wasteful, and, a drain on water, but let's face it, they're missing the point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, but um, don't you think there might be some valid concerns about local impacts?
Sure, there are concerns, but look at the broader picture. Data centers are being framed as a threat while they're really, a modern version of infrastructure, like our highways and power grids
Yeah,
back in the day.
exactly. And critics often claim, but they don't create jobs. Yet the data seems to suggest otherwise, right?
Absolutely. According to studies from McKinsey and the Bureau of Labor Statistics, these centers generate thousands of construction jobs during build-out and hundreds of permanent high-skill positions, like network technicians, security engineers, and even power management specialists.
That's really interesting. It's not the factory jobs of old, but it's a shift towards a more technical, modern workforce.
Exactly. And if you think about it, opposing data centers while still demanding modern services is kind of like, well, opposing roads when you need to get groceries.
I get that analogy, but some might argue that the environmental footprint of these centers is huge. What's your take on that?
Right. Okay. So here's the thing. Yes, data centers do use energy, but so do hospitals, factories, and even our everyday devices. And modern data centers are increasingly efficient. They're partially powered by renewables and built near existing grids, which reduces additional expansion.
Exactly. And the water usage issue seems overblown too, right?
Definitely. Multiple studies, including ones from Lawrence Berkeley, show that new generation data centers use less water than traditional industrial facilities. They're even moving towards closed loop systems that minimize waste.
You know, I have to say, while I agree with the efficiency points, I'm a bit skeptical. What if these efficiency improvements don't keep up with the rapid expansion? Isn't there a risk there?
That's a fair critique, but think about it this way. Every major infrastructure had its growing pains. Back then, highways evolved with better tech and safety standards. It's like gradual improvement over time.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And I mean, if Michigan rejects these centers, the alternative is clear. They go to places like Indiana, Ohio, and Texas, taking with them tax revenue and job opportunities.
Exactly. And that's a huge loss. Communities that resist modern progress end up exporting their own future. It's a real catch-22, resisting change because of fear, only to be left behind economically.
And that ties into the concept of the highway moment for Michigan, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Just as Michigan embraced highways and manufacturing corridors in the mid 20th century and reaped the benefits, today's digital infrastructure, data centers, is the key to anchoring future industries. It's like, if you build the right foundation, everything else follows.
It's really a call to action. Embrace modern infrastructure to keep talent, boost the local economy, and ultimately shape how technology integrates into communities.
Exactly. And there's also that fear factor at play. People tend to resist change because it feels unsafe or disruptive. But ironically, history has shown that resisting progress tends to lead to economic decline over time.
It's a bit of a paradox. People think they're preserving their town's character, but sometimes, in reality, they're sealing its fate.
Right. And the narrative that data centers are imposed on communities without any local benefit is just not holding up under scrutiny. In fact, counties hosting them see, like the Economic Development Research Group study showed, improvements in tax revenue, educational funding, and even broadband investments.
Wow, so it's not just about jobs in isolation, it's about a ripple effect boosting local services, schools, and all that.
Exactly. It's a comprehensive economic uplift. And here's an interesting detail. West Michigan already has a skilled trades workforce, top-notch engineering talent, and even a cooler climate that naturally lowers cooling costs for these centers.
Yeah, That's an important strategic advantage. But let's probe a bit. What about the aesthetics? People say data centers are ugly. Does that factor into your analysis?
Sure, aesthetics matter on a community level, but when you weigh that against the economic and infrastructural benefits, it's a bit of a superficial argument. It's like complaining about ugly roads when they're essential to get you where you need to go.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's really prioritizing long term gains over short term appearances.
Exactly, and look at it this way. Resisting progress, be it highways in the past or data centers today, always comes with a cost. Communities that fought the past infrastructure were often left lagging behind. History tends to be ruthless in that regard.
And that really challenges the narrative of keeping our traditions safe. Sometimes tradition can hold you back from new opportunities.
Absolutely, it's a no-brainer. The real risk isn't in building data centers, it's in letting fear decide our future for us. If Michigan says no, progress doesn't stop. It simply moves where it's welcomed.
And then you end up with a situation where Michigan loses out on future industries and opportunities to keep its talent and economic growth.
Exactly. And thinking about the broader picture, data centers are indispensable nowadays, running critical systems like healthcare, banking, and emergency services. They're as foundational to modern life as roads and power grids were in the 20th century.
It's almost like in our digital age, these centers are the lifeblood of pretty much everything that makes our economy run.
Yes, and with that in mind, it's clear that opposing data centers is not about preserving local character. It's about rejecting a chance to modernize and thrive.
Yeah. Now, some might say, but what about the environmental concerns? I mean, isn't there a chance of increased energy use overall?
Again, it circles back to efficiency. Modern data centers are designed to be energy efficient and are increasingly incorporating renewable energy sources. Plus, they help stabilize power grids by being built near existing infrastructure, reducing the need for sprawling new developments.
So, in essence, they're not the environmental villains they're sometimes made out to be.
Precisely, and that's the crux. Embracing data centers is less about sacrificing your community's identity and more about investing in a sustainable, economically vibrant future. It's a calculated risk, but one that history shows is often worth taking.
And I suppose the underlying message is clear. Resistance based on fear can have long term consequences. We need to base policies on facts, economic realities, and technological progress, rather than on apprehensions and aesthetics.
Exactly. The choice is stark. Either build the future or watch it pass by. It's a call for communities to engage, to speak up, and to understand that true preservation comes from adaptation and innovation, not resistance to change.
Well said. It's a reminder that progress, while sometimes uncomfortable, is essential for growth. And if we let fear rule our choices, we risk being left behind, economically and socially.
Exactly. And that's the heartbeat of the argument. Change feels risky, but in reality, it's the very channel that can bring prosperity and renewed vitality.
Yeah. And it's kind of like you have to trust the process of evolution and innovation. It's not going to derail your community, it's going to enhance it.
Absolutely. And by embracing data centers and the digital infrastructure they represent, Michigan can ensure that it not only keeps up with the times, but also becomes a leader in shaping the future economy.
Which ultimately benefits everyone, from high-skilled workers to local businesses, even the educational systems that depend on increased tax revenues and better infrastructure.
Right? And that's the fundamental takeaway. It's about using modern infrastructure as a lever to create lasting economic and social benefits. It's like fueling progress with every brick you lay, even if some of those bricks are data centers.
Yeah. A fascinating perspective and a much-needed discussion for communities wrestling with change. Thanks for breaking it down so dynamically.
Thanks. And remember, if this conversation lights a spark for you, share it, talk about it, and let's use our voices to build a future that's as innovative as it is inclusive.